Well, hello. Welcome to Engage. It's good to be with you, if even digitally still. I'm looking forward to gathering together very soon. It's been a long time since we've been together. If you haven't heard the news, June 7th, we are supposed to be opening back up our normal church services. Well, I say normal, but it will be slightly altered. But they've been postponed for the time being, and we've been doing the drive-through services at the Wapak Athletic Club. So those will be going on for the next few weeks still. I'd love to see you there, and I'd love to be able to pray for you and with your family. But once June 7th hits, we'll be gathering together again in our church service with more details to come. So be following our website and the Facebook page for Stephen or myself, and more details will be coming out through there. But I'm glad to be with you. I'm glad that we have this opportunity with technology to meet in this way. And speaking of technology, I was on Facebook earlier today, and I was scrolling through my list of things, and I saw this quote, and I've seen other quotes like it before, and I wanted to share it with you and then share some thoughts about what this might mean for us as Christians and us as believers. And it said this. It said, when you have a good heart, you help too much, you trust too much, you give too much, you love too much, and it always seems like you're the one who gets hurt the most. I don't know how you're feeling in response to that message. Maybe you feel like that really hits home for you. Maybe that really connects with you. But what happens with posts like this, usually they're accompanied by somebody also saying, and this is why I'm done always caring about other people. It's time to start looking after myself. It's time to start caring only about myself, because I'm tired of taking care of others. And while self-care is hugely important, we've learned a lot over the years about the importance of self-care and mental health in individuals, so not to diminish that at all. It's vastly important. And toxicity is a whole nother thing. But the Bible talks to us about how followers of Jesus are going to be people who allow other people sometimes to take advantage of them. Who go beyond what seems reasonable or normal in as far as helping people. So I wanted to look at Matthew chapter 5. Starting in verse 38, it says this. Jesus says, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If they do it to you, you do it to them, but you do it worse, so they remember you." Verse 39, "But I tell you, don't resist an evildoer. On the contrary, if anyone slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. As for the one who wants to sue you and take away your shirt, let him have your coat as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to the one who asks you, and don't turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you." Jesus' words are really challenging here. And I'm going to openly admit right now that I don't always live up to this. That there's a lot of good reasons I have to not give someone my coat just because he wants to take my shirt. There's a lot of good reasons I have to only go the 1 mile, or maybe not even go that 1 mile. But what Jesus is saying here is that the people of God, his followers, are people who do things that are radically and drastically different. And they're vulnerable moments because we find our strength not in ourselves or in our own self-worth, but we find our strength in God, who, although we might be taken advantage of, and although we might be hurt, and although our heart might be overwhelmed at times, God is sustaining us and he is not shaken by it. Even though God grieves with us and mourns with us, God is not altered by the circumstances of our lives in that way. Let's go back a little bit. Earlier in this chapter, this is often referred to as Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. So earlier in the chapter, Jesus in verse 13 says, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its taste, how can it be made salty? It's no longer good for anything, but to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city situated on a hill cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, but rather on a lampstand, and it gives light for all who are in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." That quote I read earlier about doing good and being hurt the most, that's not an excuse for us to say, well, I'm done doing good for other people. In fact, it should probably be an encouragement to continue to do good for other people, to continue to forgive the person who hurt you, to continue to love your enemy, the kid who spread that nasty rumor about you. It doesn't mean you're going to become best friends. It doesn't mean you're going to like everything about them. We're going to start hanging out. But it does mean you're not holding on to the anger toward them. That hate that builds up inside you and all of a sudden needs an escape. And oftentimes when hate builds up inside of us and it escapes in unhealthy ways. Unless we learn to release it. Allow God to take it, to control it, to live in us and through us, and allow us to continue to do good things in the world around us. What's the good thing you're doing this week? What's the movement of light that you are giving to your household or your neighborhood this week? How are you lighting up the house? How are you shining your light? Or to use the analogy of salt that Jesus uses, how are you adding flavor to your family's life? How are you invigorating it, giving it life, making things exciting, making them fun, making them fulfilling, making them meaningful? How are you helping sustain your family through this time? We all have a role. We all have a place. And God has given each of us the ability and the power to love radically. So I pray that you are loving people radically in your household today and in your neighborhood. Go in His peace today, and we'll see you soon.